Today before the game, I asked our kids how many of them fished. Surprisingly, I would say probably 80% of the room raised their hands, which was shocking to me, but I'm a city girl. To make it short, the last sermon we talked about over at Hopewell was about Simon casting his net and not getting any results from the fish. And we've been in the same situation. We've been casting and casting, and we've been coming up empty. And one of the things I told our young ladies were, we've been fishing in the shallow water. And the theme for tonight was, if we're going to cast and be successful, we got to go deep. We got to go deeper than what we've been going. We got to sell out for what we're doing. But the number one thing that we have to do is be obedient. And that's what he was. And so the next part of that was, once he went and cast his net in the deep waters that God had told him to, all of a sudden these fish start jumping in the nets. And then he calls out for help because it's too much. But the most important thing about that help when that other boat was coming was that help was equipped. The help was equipped to be able to assist him in the fish, loading the fish, which is what I talked to my bench about in terms of being ready. Guys were casting, but that first half was completely unacceptable. I don't like doing what I had to do at halftime. I try to treat our young ladies as adults. I believe motivation wears off, but discipline remains. And we didn't have both in that first half. When things aren't going our way, like a shot dropping, there are other things you can do to help your team. And for us to drop our heads and ask to come out of the game, that's not who we are, and that's not why I came here, and that's not what I'll accept from our young ladies. So halftime was a bit colorful because I had to challenge them. I challenged my staff that the product we've been building, the foundation that we're going to lay with alumni sitting up in the stands, is going to be one where we fight for everything. I don't care if I got 7 players at the end of the season. Those 7 are going to fight. And when we're out in these streets recruiting, that's what I'm looking for. And if we need an example of what it looks like, look no further than Lanaya frickin' Randall, who took offense to Indiana State being the #1 offensive rebounding team in the league. And we had 27 on them because her motor doesn't stop. Does she make mistakes? Yes, she makes mistakes. Kiara Love, another one. How dare you doubt yourself? Don't doubt yourself when we have empowered you to do what we need you to do for this team. Year 2, we're still in the infancy of building this program. But my job is to empower women. And to be empowered, there's an accountability that comes along with that. We have to do the work. And that's what I told them. I don't know if it was Nick Saban that said it, Kobe. One of them said it. The magic is in the work we're avoiding. And at the end of the day, we just got to get to work.
What, of all the things that happened in that first half, I mean, people miss shots, right?
Yeah.
Was it the defense, or what wasn't happening in the defensive end? Or
it was not following the game plan. Yeah. When we set it up and scheme, and we know who's going to hurt us on the other end, and we know they're going to switch that, and we're going to attack that shoulder and get them in foul trouble, because guess what? She ended up on the bench, fouled out, because we followed the game plan in the second half. But when we do our own thing, and I'm supposed to go right, but I'm going to cross over and go back left, or I'm going to hesitate and travel, they didn't turn us over. Those, 17, 19 turnovers? Heck, 16 of those were our gifts. Our gifts trying to do something different other than what we were supposed to be doing.
The foul trouble, too.
Mm-hmm.
Lanaya gets in foul trouble, Sierra fouls out. How much did that hamper your comeback attempt?
Well, it hampered it a little bit. With that, if you notice, Lanai was still on the floor. We did some offense, defense with her.
Right.
We needed her for the press. So we told her, don't break the glass. You know what? You can go. You can still get there. Just don't break the glass and allow them to make an easy call on you there. But having AJ in, having some quicker people in, allowed us to rotate a little bit different. Where it hurt us was Sierra was 5 for 6. So when she got looks, she was finishing the day. The only thing that killed us was on the other end. We were just giving up. We weren't physical. And I told them we got to physically block out, and that's why I went with Angela, who it might not show on the stat sheet, but she kept them off the boards.
What do you say to Jaden after a game like that from the standpoint of keeping her confidence up?
Yeah, it's tough being her.
Yeah.
It's tough being her, and you don't have to be. You don't have to be. You got a team here that'll share that with you. But she's getting in the gym. She's watching film, but she's going through a tough stretch. But I try to, as much as we try to watch film, I told her, both are true. Whatever you believe is true. You either believe that you're a great player and becoming a great player, or you don't. But whatever you're feeding yourself, that's the reality of it. So the only way to get through this is to keep working and do something else for your team. And in the second half, I thought she did that. I thought she ended up, she had 7 steals, which at halftime, I don't even think she had 1. She had 1 at halftime. So she got 6 steals in the second half. That's letting it go and focusing on doing something else. And even if with those 6 steals, she still had more deflection. She had a couple of assists. And that's how you work your way through it. You work your way through it. She's got a lid on the bucket right now, but she can't have a lid mentality.
Can a comeback like that, even though you don't win, can it maybe result in something positive? Does it have carryover value? That's what I'm asking to the next game.
It's gonna have carryover. It's gonna have carryover value because I told them. I said, guys, I look at and I study coaches, and there are a lot of championship coaches that, excuse my French, but I can't say the word that I'm thinking of, but they're what's the word? Unrelenting. They're not relenting, and
Nick Saban would be one of those you just mentioned.
and other people might call them different things, and how they're talked to and how they're treated. And what I told our young ladies is, as we're trying to treat you with respect, sometimes the only way that you're used to getting a result is by, getting a foot in your butt. Getting a foot in your butt. And I said, so, whatever you guys have to do, whatever you guys have to do to respond, but I'm going to coach you in between the lines. So before we run to mommy, daddy, or whoever, in between 94 feet, I'm going to coach you like an athlete. If I treat you that way outside 94 feet, there's a problem. But in between 94 feet, I'm not dealing with the names on this sheet. I'm dealing with the numbers on the back and the athletes. And I'm going to coach you hard.
For Sunday, you got the quick turnaround, obviously, if Evansville in here. Is it so much a matter of what Evansville does, or is it just kind of like worrying about what you do as a team?
Right now, it's SIU versus SIU, like it is every game. And we are our biggest opponent, and we can be our biggest victor. But it starts with understanding what we're doing. And in the second half, they showed that they knew what we were doing. We got to be disciplined enough to bring it home. We got to be disciplined enough to bring it home. We did some extra things in the second half, and those are the adjustments that we have to make as a staff. And we got some turnovers just because we start doing some things that their kids were uncomfortable with. And that's how we got to play. That's how we got to play the whole half. Our rotations still have to get better. And, we got to guard the middle ball screen because that's all they ran the first 6 minutes of the game.
That's how Blanton got her points.
That's it. That's it. And we've worked on it. But we're going to do some things to counteract it. But it's funny. I got that same play. But our kids don't trust it. We cross back over. Other kids are taking a straight line. So we got to trust.